Yeah, OVO Sound 2025. Who's bumping that shit?
Is it Stacy? Is it Becky? Is it Keisha? Is it LP? Was it Danny? Is it Monty? Where's the function?
Where the fuck the function? Where the fuck the function? The way I feel right now, I feel like we need to be all alone.
This class is going to be a banger. Sunglasses off. Let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I have something special to announce. First of all, hold on, I gotta fix the camera. We have secured a partnership with My Funded Futures, finally, after all of this time. But the good news here is that I'm giving away 3 Starter Plus accounts. That's right, the best account that they offer in my opinion, okay? 3 Starter Plus 50Ks. Absolutely insane, guys. Come on, that's a crazy deal. They don't do giveaways with new affiliates like that, except for me, because we have the best community. All you have to do to enter is to simply go to myfundedfutures.com, and it doesn't matter if you're an existing user or a new user. All you have to do is use code GUS at checkout. They are currently offering a 50% off one-time use for any funded account size, any funded account type, all of that kind of stuff. It is a crazy deal, guys. Lock in, and whenever you do that, when you use code GUS, the accounts literally start at $40. They do not have activation fees. You can get a funded account. Take a payout. So easy. They're so easy to take a payout with. I got one last night. So yeah, all you have to do to enter is to use code GUS on any account size, and you're automatically entered. I will be announcing all of the winners next Friday. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. Let me throw my desk up a little bit more. Alright, so I haven't actually said it, but today's video is going to be basically on the exact entry model that I use, my exact strategy, but this is more in depth than some of the previous videos, and this one is going to be showing different examples. I'm not going to be reusing examples. This is going to be from this week, specifically on Wednesday, okay? So yeah, this is going to be a banger video. Let's go ahead and get into it. So what am I looking for every single day in the market? I'm looking for either one of these 3 things. All right, let's go ahead and write it down. Liquidity, an SMT, and a tap into a high time frame gap, gasp. So yeah, I'm looking for only one of these things. I'm not looking for all of them. Very important, because everybody thinks that you need every single confluence ever made to be profitable or to be successful, and that is not the case. You just need one of these things. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get onto our chart. I will say that the ones I take the most are based off of this right here, liquidity and SMTs. Not as much into high time frame gaps, but that is extremely overpowered for recent times when we have all-time highs. So yeah, so why is this sideways, bro? This is like, lock in. All right, finally fix the camera. I think it still looks a little sideways, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, we need to look for either liquidity, an SMT, or a tap into a high time frame gap. So pretty obvious. If you could mark on the chart right now where liquidity is, I'm sure we're looking at some of the same places. First of all, I'm looking at these 2 relative equal highs. I'm looking at this swing high up here. I'm also looking for this low, and I'm looking for this low. Okay, now a question I get a ton is basically, how do you figure out which low is the right one or which high is the right one that price will reverse at? And there's 3 things that will tell you that. First of all, you have there's 4. First of all, you have an inverse fair value gap. You'll have a change in the state of delivery, or you'll have a market structure shift, or you'll have a protected high or low, which is whenever you match a CISD with an SMT. So in this case, I'm just looking, okay, which one gets hit out first? All right, so it is 1:49 a.m. So we need to kind of fast forward the chart a bit here. So, Alrighty, and this just goes to show you that this strategy works during all sessions. This is a London session example, but this happens more, I would honestly say more frequently inside of London and New York, but not as much Asia. But it still works in Asia, so yeah. Anyways, so we can see that we have a sweep of this low right here, okay? Now I'm basically going to be looking for the leg that sweeps liquidity, which is this right here. We are on the 1-minute time frame, and we left behind this fair value gap. We are not looking to go long or short just yet. We are going to sit here, and we're going to wait to see how price reacts to this gap. Right here, we have a close above this fair value gap, all right? We are just looking for this. This is all we're looking for, okay? When people try to give you this like insanely complicated strategy, a lot of the times it has a low win rate because you have to wait for like 15 different conditions to happen. Mine is just 1 out of 3 and then an inverse fair value gap. That is all. So right here we can see that this bearish fair value gap got a close above. Okay, super important. We need to see, we need to see aggressiveness of buyers here. So if we have a ton of sellers that are creating an imbalance, we need an imbalance of buyers, okay, to go through this level. So you can see we didn't just get a close exactly at the top. That's very important. We're not just getting these like tiny closes at the top. We are getting a full-fledged just like bullish Drake candle. All right, that's kind of ditty. But anyways, yeah, so we're getting these massive candle. Yeah, we are getting a very energetic candle close above the inverse fair value gap. Now here's a pro tip that I say this a lot, but a lot of you guys don't do it, and this will make you more money, is if you take these gaps and you drag them out to the right, okay? Use them as support zones. Now here's another thing that's very important. First of all, we can use this inverse fair value gap as a way to kind of determine if this low is going to be the one that gets put in for that time period. But also, we will only see a change in the state of delivery if it is all the way up here, which is not the most ideal, and it's usually not that high up, but I do have faith in this. So you're basically going to wait here. You can get your entry in here. Personally, I don't like that the market, even though it's only 2 points, I feel like we got too much of a push to the upside. So this is for my AEM strategy, okay? Because the last time I said I would do my AEM strategy, and the examples were more PRR. So what you're waiting for is for price to trade back into this inversion. So you're gonna look for something like this, okay? Either to the top or the consequent encroachment, which is the 50% level of the inverse fair value gap. This is how you turn that on, by the way. You go into rectangle, you click style, and you turn on this middle line button. Okay, these are my settings. Do this real quick and lock that in. You are going to wait for price to trade into the top or to the consequent encroachment. So let's see what the market does. Okay, and also one thing I want to say is that I usually use market orders. Okay, Diddy candle down. That's all good. So you could have either gotten in here or you could have gotten in here. Now, since we're in such a low point range, this does not matter. What you want to make sure you're also doing, by the way, is instead of putting your stop loss under the fair value gap right here, or the inverse fair value gap, you would have gotten stopped. I can't name drop people, but tons of people will say this, like put the stop loss under the inverse fair value gap. That's gonna cook you because the market's just gonna do this and it'll probably pump higher. You are going to be putting your stop loss at the low that starts the reversal. Okay, throw it there. It might cost you a little bit extra money if you lose, but why not take on a little bit more risk for the greater potential of making a lot more money? Okay, so in this case, we're looking, okay, this looks like negative risk to reward. And the reason why is because I have not adjusted this. What you're gonna do is you're going to use this strategy to target external range liquidity in 5 and 15 minute fair value gaps. So in this case, I want to put my take profit all the way up here for this external range liquidity. Why did I pick this one? Because it looked the best. It is the highest out of the high when it comes to buy side liquidity. So we're gonna mark that out because that's where people are gonna be having their stop loss and they're gonna have a limit order set. Okay, more levels that this will happen is going to be at swing highs like here. So all of these levels right here can be partials. Okay, so I'm actually gonna demonstrate that one. These can be TPs and partials. So right here, we're on the micro chart. Let's just enter 10. Okay. Now, I know we got in kind of wonky, but say we just got in at the top. I'll give the benefit of a doubt here and just say we got a kind of a bad entry on it. Okay, see how price trades. Okay, notice how price ran up a bit and then came to tap back into that inverse fair value gap. I glitched out for a minute. But yeah, so we're basically using it as support. People don't do this, you need to start doing this. Use this as a freaking support zone. Okay, and if we have our take profit up here, yeah, we're just gonna leave it there. Now see how price trades, all right? So what am I looking at here? Well, first of all, we hit our first take profit, so we can trim off some contracts. Let's go ahead and just trim off 3. Okay, selling off 3 right here. Say we would have done it here. So TP1 has been hit. Now, when TP1 gets hit, take your stop loss and you're gonna move it to break even. I'm just doing this so you can see how much you'd be up, but this would be at break even. So now there's zero risk on the table and you've already taken some profit here. It's a risk-free trade and you've already made some money. But once take profit 1 gets hit, you are going to be moving your stop loss to break even. Additional confirmation here for this trade playing out is the fact that we had a market structure shift to the upside. And the reason why is that we generated a swing high inside of this move. High, low, low, high. Basically, we're creating that swing point, and then if we get displacement above and a close above, you're locking that in. But yeah, so when you have this market structure shift, it's basically giving you additional confirmation. Remember, we wouldn't see the CISD until we have a close above here, and in fact, we just did get that close above. So now we have a market structure shift, an inverse fair value gap, and a CISD, all with a sweep of liquidity. Everything is telling you we're bullish. So let's wait for this next draw on liquidity to get hit, because it is possible that the market will go up here and reverse back to break even and then go higher. So let's see. How does this play out? Okay, TP2 is hit. Okay, and TP3. All right, so I'm not even gonna just close out the trades, but you guys can see. All right, price is running through this buy side liquidity. And here's a pro tip. Every single time that you get a solid, good close over these levels, that gives you additional confirmation to not bail out of the trade. Dude, we're on the 1 minute time frame and we're just pumping through these levels, as you can see. So yeah, now our final take profit is going to obviously be at this buy side liquidity right here, which is that final high. And we can expect that when the market hits this, we may displace and continue higher, but it's very important just to call it there, because what the market could do is this. It could basically run up, hit buy side, and then retrace back down to your break even here to basically rebalance this price leg. So keep in mind, look at all these fair value gaps we've caused in this uptrend sequence. That is a higher time frame fair value gap. And when the market has an explosive move, it has to rebalance that leg. So let's see. Bang. Final take profit hit. It was a risk-free trade after this was hit. So basically, you were taking, your trades based off of take profit levels with liquidity only. You don't really want to set fixed levels. So this right here was my CISD. In fact, I thought this was actually TP1, but this is where basically the CISD was formed. So if we could just see price trade into that level, cool. And then since we got a close above, that further confirms me to stay in the trade. But if the market went here and tapped it and then didn't close above and we traded back lower, it's chill because I took some profit, and even though my trade got invalidated, I made money and I didn't lose anything. So yeah, as some of you guys have seen on Instagram, I started trading a new type of strategy on the side. It's been going very good. It's like a scalping strategy / bottom and top tick strategy. I also teach that inside of the Capital Academy. If you're new here or you are not familiar with the Capital Academy, that is essentially my paid community where you join up and we have nightly classes. Literally every single day we have a class / trade recap, and basically you join up and you send all of your trades that you took that day, and I invite you on the stage to speak about your trades and we go over them together. I tell you why it's a good trade, why it's a bad trade, and we talk through it, and I keep you accountable for staying on top of things and following your rules. So it's more than just some signal service. It's not a signal service. There's not live trading. It's literally there for you to actually become profitable, because signals and live trading does not make you profitable. Okay, I show all of my executions for all of my trades on my trade recaps every day. And in fact, I post all of my trade recaps for completely free at the Discord. In the bio, there's a free one as well. And there's also over 35 classes. And just to give you an idea, these are some of the classes that are already recorded and posted. So as you can see, there is a ton of education inside the server, and more just keep getting added each week. So yeah, and as you can see, we have these levels right here, today's level, and then whenever you go up to my free trade recap, you can see 7 wins, 0 losses, all trading these levels. And not to leak it, but if you can see, look at all these trades using the levels. They hold up very well. And just to keep showing off all of the students inside of here, you can see this guy got funded, this guy got funded. Ben over here just started trading in January and already has 10K in payouts. Montana over here joined the server beginning of this year, 3,100 payout, funded, testimonials. I mean, you guys can see it, payouts. Then we have profits here, and everybody is cooking up. We have students passing X5 right here. This is on Express accounts, by the way. all of these gains. Montana getting another payout, second payout in the books. But yeah, that is just a sneak peek of everything inside. And like I said, we do daily classes. I leak all of the sauce inside of there. So if that is something you were interested in or something you need, which is most likely is, but that's up to you to decide, that is in the link in the description. But I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.